Many people who are into cars are also into rallying. In fact, many of us dream of owning a rally car one day. However, these are notoriously expensive. Or are they? Several companies built rally cars for the road. In fact, here are some of the cheapest ones. We start with the Ford Escort Cosworth. This was the last fast Ford Escort ever made, and what they did is they took the rather boring Mark V Ford Escort, fitted four-wheel drive and an enormous turbo to it to create a 200 plus brake horsepower beast, which was every 90s boy racer's dream. This car was famously designed to have this really cool looking whale tail spoiler, and it's very rare nowadays because a lot of them were crashed, so it's the most expensive on the list. Audi Quattro brought four-wheel drive to rallying because there was nothing in the rules that said they couldn't, and it dominated. In fact, this soon became the favoured luxury car that businessmen would take over a BMW or an Audi back in the 80s because, well, partly because you were less likely to slide out in the snow. It was also the hero car in the hit 80s TV series Ashes to Ashes. In fact, this car was so dominant in rallying, and it was one of the most legendary rally cars of all time. So, it's strange to think that they are as cheap as they are. Here's one that even the most hardcore Volkswagen fans probably don't even know exists. This is the Rallye Golf. So it's a Mark II Golf with a 160 horsepower 1.8 litre supercharged engine from the Corrado. It was also fitted with all-wheel drive and was basically a homologation special for when Volkswagen decided to go to the WRC. But it wasn't very successful and no one remembered it. It does look pretty cool though, but once you see the price, I think you might be put off, because this car costs £40,000, and this is the cheapest one. Another reason you might not buy the Golf is because of this, the Lancia Delta Integrale. 210 horsepower. This was basically the everyman's version of the Integrale Evo, which is extremely rare and fetches thousands and thousands of pounds at auction. This is a lot cheaper. These tend to go for between 30 to 40,000, some even more than that. This has, again, four-wheel drive, and it's also got more horsepower than the Golf, 210, and it has four doors rather than two, so it's a bit more practical. It's also a bit less reliable, but if you buy this, you'll save a bit more money for repairs. Another car that absolutely no one remembers is this, the Nissan Pulsar GTIR, another not very successful rally car, but looks cool. This thing was a lot more common, so a few made it over to the UK, some badged as Nissan Sunnies and some were imported a bit later. Anyway, they fitted the boring Nissan Pulsar hatchback with a very interesting wide body kit and a 1.6 litre turbo. So this thing had about 160 horsepower, and you can find imports. These cost around 27,000. This is the cheapest one. Is the Toyota Celica GT4. This one was not the one that cheated, this is the one that came before that. This Toyota dominated the rally stages. It was reliable, it was fast, and even the road going version packed a punch. This one has about 200 horsepower from its 2 litre turbocharged engine, and for £20,000 you can even find the highly coveted Carlos Sainz edition, made in honour of Toyota's driver Carlos Sainz Sr., who was a legendary rally driver at his time. Now, the second cheapest car on the list is this Mitsubishi Evo 8. This is the saloon which was ideal on track. So basically it had 4-wheel drive, had about 320 horsepower from its 2-litre turbocharged engine. It's very tunable, but if you want your car to hold value, I'd suggest keeping it stock. Either way, you get a car which you can use all year round and is actually still somewhat affordable. This is less than 20k, but not least we have this car's competitor. Well, it didn't actually directly compete with that car. This is the Subaru Impreza Mark I, the number 555, for those of you who are in the know. This car was famously driven by Scottish driver Colin McRae, one of the greatest rallying drivers in history. This thing is, well, it's very rare now. Not many made it to the UK, or not many made it out of the 2000s in one piece. However, you can still find examples which are somewhat cheap. In fact, newer ones are even cheaper.